Good morning. This is Sue coming at you from the cruise port capital of the world, Miami, Florida, where we have just returned from a 14-night voyage on Virgin Voyages Valiant Lady. This ship started sailing last spring. It just arrived in the United States. It was doing the Mediterranean. It just arrived in the United States in October, and we did an 8-night and then a 6-night cruise. Both of them had different itineraries, so we stayed on and did 14 nights. So this is my review. If you'd like to see photos of my adventures, please join my Facebook page at Explore More with Sue. And if you have any questions, send me questions here on this YouTube channel, or send me an email at exploremorewithsue@gmail.com. So let's get started. Virgin Voyages is trying to shake up the cruising industry a little bit. They're trying to do things differently than the other cruise lines, and they have succeeded in many instances. They have ships that are the same size as these other ships. We've got a Celebrity, we've got 2 Carnivals, we have a Norwegian, and we've got a Royal Caribbean here. Today, they're about the same size physically, but they have fewer passengers. So the open spaces, the public spaces are more, there are more of them, and they're more varied. And so they've done a great job in that respect. The food here, everybody wants to hear about food. The food here is excellent. I have to say, it was a little hit and miss on the first cruise. We did the 8-night cruise, and the food was not quite as good as it was the second sailing. And I don't know why that was, but overall it was really, really good. Virgin does not have a main dining room. They've only got specialty dining. So they've got Mexican, which is kind of Mexican Southwestern. They have Italian, they have a steakhouse, they have a diner, they have a Korean barbecue, and they are all they're all free. You don't have to pay to go to them like you do on so many other cruise lines. You do not have to pay to dine. They are very aware of allergies and preferences. So if you've got a gluten-free diet, or if you're a vegan or a vegetarian, they are very, very aware of that, and there are plenty of options. There is no formal night on Virgin, so you can wear whatever you want. Most people wear, maybe a polo shirt and khakis, or a skirt or a sundress, but you don't have to. But most people do look a little bit nicer than, no tank tops and no cutoffs in the dining room, but there's no formal night. So a lot of people love that you don't have to dress up. Some people would miss that, but you don't have to dress up. So no main dining room, no formal night. There's a food court instead of a buffet on the top deck. There's a food court instead. So they've got a ramen place and a taqueria and a diner and a sushi cart. So they've got a lot of different varieties in that respect. Some of them you go pick up yourself, some of them you order and they bring them to you. They also have this cool idea where they're kind of like bento boxes, but they're prepared and ready to go. So if you want to grab a sandwich and take it back to your cabin or eat it on deck, you can do that. They're available all day, which is great. They include Coke, Diet Coke, Sprite, and Orange Fanta. That's included in the price. You don't have to pay extra for that. They also have a variety of different juices, and those are all included. If you want fancy fresh orange juice or beet juice or carrot juice, that's an extra charge. But for the basic juices that come out of the dispenser in the food court area, that's all included. Depending on the level of stateroom you have, you can make dining reservations in advance before you get on board. I highly recommend doing that because the dining rooms do get full, and sometimes they get sold out. So if you sail on Virgin, as soon as you are able to, go into the app. Everything is app driven on this line, everything. So as soon as you can, go into the app and make your dining reservations. And I would recommend, if it's your first time especially, that you make a reservation at a different restaurant every night. You're gonna find one that you like better than the other, but it's worth it to try them all because you never know what you're gonna like. They also have breakfast in 2 of the specialty dining areas. So you can either eat in the food court or you can eat at one of the 2 specialty dining areas. It's Razzle Dazzle and the Wake that offer breakfast and brunch. They have beautiful gyms, beautiful gyms. The equipment is all in working order, which is huge. For those of you that use gyms on cruises, you walk into a gym and there is usually at least one machine that's not working. Sometimes there are multiple machines that aren't working. They are all working. They're all in great order. There are plenty of them. There's also a really cool thing that Virgin does, and that is they include exercise classes. So you don't have to pay extra for a spin class or a yoga class, and they've got a lot of classes. So you can't sign up for those until you get on board. So as soon as you get on board, go on the app. Like the day you get on, 30 minutes after you get on, within 30 minutes after you get on, make sure you go on the app and sign up for the classes that you want. They don't just have exercise classes, they have meditation. They do have morning yoga, which is an exercise class, but they've got a lot of different offerings. So when you get on board, sign up, look at the list and sign up for what you want. They also have towels that are available for you. They've got a running track, which is right here. It's 6 times around for a mile. So you might get a little dizzy, but that's okay. It's right here up on the top. And it's a beautiful view when you're running or walking. They've got a basketball court. It's not a full size, but they do have a basketball court, and they've got fitness equipment outside as well around the top here that you can use. So that's kind of a fun idea. Their entertainment is different. They have no Broadway style shows. Most of their entertainment is a little bit racy. It's R-rated, most of it, but they can do that. You know why? Because Virgin, you have to be 18 or older to sail on this cruise line. So there are entertainment options. There are some singers. There's some dancing. There's a really cool one called Dual Reality that is, oh my goodness, it's like a Cirque du Soleil sort of, where they have incredible contortionists and jugglers and anyway, you got to see it to believe it. It's really worth seeing. They have an occasional bingo, they have occasional trivia, there's music around the ship in various places, they have a variety of bars, plenty of bars, and every bar seems to have its own menu. So it's wherever you decide to go, ask for the menu, and they may not have a mudslide at certain bars, but they will have some other type of beverage that you might find that will become your new favorite. They have a full coffee bar. It's like any coffee place on land. It's a full coffee bar with all sorts of choices. It's open. Actually, they have 2. One of them is on deck 7, which is like the promenade area where you're walking from the front to the back of the ship. There's also one upstairs in the food court area. They have a fountain, like a soda fountain area where you can get milkshakes with Kahlua, and they've got hot dogs in that place. They've got a candy counter there. They do not have a sports bar. So I'm going to say that right up front. They don't have a sports bar. The sports, they don't show sports here. They have 2 small TVs that were showing the World Cup while we were here. But yesterday my football team was playing for a college championship in the college, not the division, their conference, and they couldn't get it. I couldn't get it. So we ended up having to try to find it on YouTube. So do not come on this cruise thinking you're going to be able to watch sports, because more than likely you are not. But speaking of watching something on YouTube, Wi-Fi is included. on this cruise line. So Wi-Fi is included and gratuities are included. Crew gratuities and Wi-Fi, as well as all the soft drinks, are included, which is something different. You don't have to pay for it. They, as far as accessibility goes, we're traveling with my mom, who uses a walker and a wheelchair. The ship actually, for the most part, is very wheelchair friendly. In fact, it doesn't have like the big metal things in the doorways and that a lot of cruise lines have, where it's difficult to get a wheelchair over. But there are a couple of doors that don't have a push button open. So if you were trying to maneuver your own wheelchair, or you were pushing somebody in a wheelchair, it would be very difficult to get those doors open. And getting on and off the ship, they haven't figured that out yet. So there really isn't much help when you get on and off the ship if you've got mobility issues. Most of the other cruise lines they have that wired when you get on and off the ship. Virgin's still working on it though. And I will say, they are very receptive to feedback. They want to be the best. They want to attract people that become very loyal to them. So they're continually sending a 5 or 10 second survey that they'd like you to take, and they do listen to comments. I have to say they do, because I made a comment about something on our 8-night cruise, and it had been improved by the 6-night cruise. So they will listen to comments, which I totally appreciate, and I'm sure you will too. The crew it's unusual because they are mostly from Eastern Europe, Africa, and South America, particularly Brazil. So they're people from all over the world that work on these ships, but they tend to be fewer Indonesians and Filipinos, which is what you see on some of the other more established cruise lines. Sorry, I'm trying to juggle my notes and give me just 1 second, and the camera at the same time. My camera person is not here today, so it makes me appreciate my camera person way more. There is a beautiful space at the back of the ship called the dock. It's on deck 7. It's a bar, it's a restaurant. They have some small plate type of foods. It has a view over the back, the wake, and it's a beautiful, beautiful place to sit, especially for sail away. So head to the dock, check it out. It's back of deck 7. By the way, deck 7 also, you can walk all the way around it. So if you're walking on the track and you get kind of bored, or you're running, you can't really run on deck 7, but you can definitely walk. There is no cruise director. They do not have a cruise director. Excuse me. So it's kind of weird to not have a cruise director if you're used to that, but they're not a million announcements. There was one announcement when we got on board. There was one announcement yesterday saying thank you for sailing with us. They don't announce when you're in port and you're cleared to get off. They don't announce where we're located and the depth of the ocean. They don't make any announcements. So that's great, but you also have to be a little bit more aware of where we are, what time you want to get off the ship, etc. They do have an event called Scarlet Night, and Scarlet Night, everybody wears red, and they've got music, they've got some dancing. Around the ship. There are different events going on around the ship, and then it turns into a giant pool party at the end of the night up on deck 15. The cabins are small, but not any smaller than most of the other major lines. They have a fridge, a safe, a hair dryer. They have shampoo, conditioner, shower gel. The showers are pretty small. The bathrooms are pretty small, but they're certainly manageable. The service is excellent. The cabin service is really excellent. The service in the restaurants is generally excellent. Sometimes there were a few nights where it got a little glitchy for the service, but for the most part it was awesome. You can open the partition. You can get the partitions between balconies open. They will do that when you're in port. When you're sailing, they have to close those partitions. But if you're sailing with friends or family and you want to open the partitions, you can get that done. They have hammocks on the balconies. I know it sounds a little gimmicky. And it is, but it's really cool to have a hammock. If you sail on Virgin and you end up with a balcony cabin, make sure you try the balcony or the hammock. They have kind of a weird thing though with the lights on board at night. Excuse me. On the balconies, you can't control your light on your balcony. So some nights the balconies were dark. Some nights there was a bright neon light, or a fluorescent light that was on all night. And you can't, so I checked a couple of different times. You have no control over the light on your balcony. It's all controlled by the bridge or the lighting people. Or that is really weird to me, that you can't make your balcony dark, your balcony at night. The casino is non-smoking. There's very little smoking on this ship. There are 2 places that you can smoke outside. No smoking in your cabins, no smoking in the casino. So Virgin is trying to be edgy. They're trying to be edgy, and the ambiance that they're trying to, the vibe they're trying to go for is that of a higher scale Las Vegas casino. That's really what they seem to be going for. They're trying a little, in my opinion, they're trying a little bit too hard to be edgy, but they are sophisticated. It's a sophisticated vibe. The ship is sophisticated. You know, the public spaces are sophisticated. They're really, really trying to be different, but in a good way. So this could be a nonstop party if you wanted it to be, but you don't have to have it be that way. There are plenty of quiet spaces. There are plenty of places where you can just sit, watch the water, have a drink, read a book. There are plenty of those. So they're still working out some bugs. They are willing to listen to feedback. They are definitely on the right track. We would absolutely sail again. In fact, I sailed on Scarlet Lady in February, and I liked it enough to come back and do it again for 14 nights. So if you haven't tried Virgin, look into it. You might want to try it. It's worth trying. It really is. And their prices actually are pretty good when you consider they give you the Wi-Fi and the gratuities. And look into it. They are having a lot of sales, so that because they want to get people to try the brand. The age group on here was 25 to 85 or 90, with in the middle probably 35 to 50 is the average demographic, but there were a lot of people who were older and younger than that too. So give Virgin a try. If you have any questions, let me know. Thank you for watching, and go Utes, I have to say. So I didn't get to see my game on board, except the last part of the game on YouTube. Go Utes. They beat the Trojans. They're Pac-12 champs. Thanks for watching, and the next adventure awaits.